ORCA is simply a one-shop place to find your information. So we didn't have to have multiple spreadsheets, multiple dated spreadsheets, and we change it one time. I am Julie Beaver. I'm the VP of Tax at Billingsley Company. I've been here 19 years, and I started as a tax accountant, now VP of Tax. We are a multi-investment company. We invest, we purchase real estate, we buy land, we develop land, we manage the properties, we kind of do a little bit of it all. We've grown from about 250 entities to almost 800 entities, and I would say quadrupled in size, if not more. With the volume of entities, especially increasing with the legal and on the accounting side, we had different levels of partners that had come in from different generations that were involved. And so we would see a lot of complexity come within how many partnerships are in a structure, how the structures would evolve. Some of our structures would start out with 2 entities, and some would end up going 15 layers, and you'd have 40 entities involved. I was just invited into a meeting. The owner of the company said, "Hey, you might like this. This is kind of an interesting software." They were looking at it as a legal software, data software, and I was like, "Oh, perfect. I'd love to see." And when I walked in, I was blown away because it's what we'd been looking for 10 years. That we hadn't been able to find. We'd even tried to build it ourselves, and it had broke when we went to the cloud on our accounting system. So I was so ready for ORCA. We actually just used ORCA to build a report that we've never been able to build that ran the whole company as a whole with all the assets and listed it down through effective ownership. And normally, we've never built that. In 10 years, we've never been able to build that because it was so difficult. I was able to build that report in one day. And now we have it, and it's a visual that the partners are using all the time to look at their assets. I use ORCA on a daily basis, but we use it a lot for our tax prep. We do our estimates annually along with our tax returns. It helps us to verify our partners on our tax returns that we've got the information right. It's like a second check. But we also use it to update our annual estimates, which we usually start around the end of March, mid-March. Usually takes us about 4 weeks to start to do the taxes. This year, using ORCA for the first year, we cut a week off of that because we were able to verify immediately what assets were at each entity level and percentages, and it was so much better. One of the nice things about ORCA for us is that we can now use it for some estate planning. We have some of the 3rd generation of the family of the partners coming in, and we can run what-if scenarios. So we've learned, kind of figured out a way for us to input to say, what if we did this entity with this ownership? Who would be the effective owners, and how does that fall out? And it's helping us to do a lot of estate planning as we go along. ORCA has also been helpful with our lending and financial structure in that every time we open a bank account or we do a loan, we have to send them an org chart. Before we would do the org chart in PowerPoint, there would be a lot of people checking it over. Now we can do a structure chart in ORCA and send that over, and so much less work.